good morning, it's me again. Now, on my drive to school this morning, I was thinking, and I don't know why, I was thinking about pelvises. So I thought to myself, when I get home, I will get organised and do a short video about pelvises for you. Now, pelvises, female pelvises, are quite different to male pelvises in the shape and the diameter of them. So here I have essentially a piece of paper that I have rolled up into a cone and chopped the top and the bottom off. And the reason is I want to use it to demonstrate how the shape of a female's pelvis impacts the way a baby has to maneuver through it to be born, okay? And if you can understand what's happening, you can understand certain things that you can do to help a baby move through your pelvis. So with my piece of paper, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squash it at the top, at the widest part of the funnel. I'm going to squash it side to side, okay? I'm going to fold it slightly. And then the bottom part of my funnel, I'm going to make some creases the other way. Because that is what happens with your pelvis. It is wider side to side at the top, the inlet of your pelvis, and it is wider front to back at the bottom. This is where the challenge comes in, because a baby's head is widest at the point front to back. Now, when your baby is ready to be born, say hi, Ted. I'm Ted, my teaching baby. When your baby's ready to be born, and don't worry, your baby won't be born in a green t-shirt, very army. Your baby's all tucked up snug in your pelvis, all scrunched up, and their chin is tucked to their chest. Now, the widest part of their head is still front to back. It's about 9.5 centimetres. Whereas if you can see side to side, it's much narrower. So a baby enters the pelvis, actually the other way around. Hopefully, your baby enters the pelvis on the left. If they enter on the right, doesn't really matter. They've just got a bit more moving to do. But we like our babies to enter on the left-hand side of the pelvis, chin tucked into their chest, because it reduces that diameter slightly. Can you see the width there? And then as your baby tucks their chin, it gets slightly less, okay? So as your baby goes into the pelvis, their widest part of their head is side to side in line with the widest part of your pelvis. Brilliant. Now, as they travel down towards the outlet of your pelvis, as you remember with our cone, it's now widest front to back. And this is why your baby needs to turn, okay? So your baby will turn and rotate round to the front now. So the widest part of their head is now front to back. It also creates space for their shoulders, which are also a wide point on a baby, to come in side to side at the top of the pelvic inlet. So now we're beautifully lined up for your baby to be born. And what happens now is as the back of your baby's head touches your pubic bone at the front, it encourages your baby to flex their head. Okay, so as they come out of the pelvic outlet, they tilt their head up and the head of your baby is born. But now our shoulders, which again are a wide point, are misaligned to the widest part of the pelvic outlet. So again, your baby must turn. So your baby turns, once the head is born, your baby turns in a bit of an exorcist type manoeuvre, and then their shoulders are born out of that widest part of the outlet, front to back, okay? Hi, yay, you've just had a baby. Now, another really great way of demonstrating this, and a step up from my paper cone demonstration model, is to use something called a Dutch pelvis. Over there, Ted, we don't need you anymore. Now, this is a model of a Dutch pelvis made by a lady called Emma at Embrace. Now, as you can see, it's got a bit like two letterboxes. The one at the front is wider side to side. The one at the bottom is wider front to back. So exactly like your pelvis. Now, this is a bit freaky, but this is your baby's head, okay? And again, we can see, because it's made of plyboard, that it is, it's not terribly three-dimensional. It's wider front to back, but we know that it will be narrower side to side. So there's your baby's head, and we're going to add to it your baby's shoulders. Okay, so we're just going to slide that through and up. And we're going to put your baby head down, because this is how that they travel through the pelvis. So here is the front of your pelvis. and the top. As your baby engages, ready to be born, the head drops down into the pelvis. Okay, now we can see from this model that the head is through the widest part, which is side to side, but they now have their shoulders, which are also quite wide, positioned front to back, and their head needs to change alignment to get through the front to back gap, which is bigger at the bottom of your pelvis at the outlet. So your baby's going to turn and their shoulders are going to drop into the top of the pelvis as the head is born and travels out through the bottom of the pelvis. Again, your baby needs to make a maneuver, so they're going to turn their head to allow their shoulders to be born. Et voila, you have a beautiful wooden baby.